जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्तवृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्तवृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna daily devotees. Today is Monday. It is 22nd of September. It is Ashwini Masa or Padmanabha Masa. Sukla Paksham Pratipat or Pajyami Tithi. So there are two events today in the calendar. So one is Navaratri. So Navaratri is a celebration of festivals of Durga Devi, and it will go for 10 days. So it starts from today. So we shall read a few lines. It is actually the festival on the Dashera, but it starts from today. Can I request Gauringi Mataji to read this? Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी की। The festival of Dasera, also known as Vijaya Dasami, is one of the um, fascinating festivals of India and is celebrated with joy and enthusiasm. According to the great spiritual the Ramayana. Lord Rama performed Chandi Puja, holy prayer. This was carried out in order to invoke uh, in the blessing of Durga for the killing of Ravana, the ten-headed demon king of Sri Lanka, who had abducted Sita, wife of Lord Rama. Durga divulged the uh, secret to Rama on how he could slay the great Ravana. Hence, upon vanquishing the demon Ravana, Lord Rama with Sita and younger brother Lakshmana returned victorious to his kingdom of Ayodhya on the day which is called Diwali. Revelers across northern India reinterred the legend at sundown in a performance called the Rama Lila. Featuring ac- actors dressed as Rama shooting flaming arrow at effigies um, stupid with firecrackers. Dasera Day is considered a most auspicious day. It is a time honored behalf that if any new venture is started on this day, it is bound to be successful. Hence, all the undertaking, be it laying in of foundation of a new building, opening of a new commercial establishment of or even initiating a child into the world of learning are started on this day. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Gauranga Mataji. Okay, so that is from Navaratri. So it starts from today. It will go for a couple of days, 9 days. Nava means 9 days. So apart from that event, so there is one more event in the calendar, but it is not ISKCON related. It is saying Rosh Hashnaha. So Rosh Hashnaha is a kind of a Jewish New Year starting. They celebrate 2 days. Okay, so that is today observance celebration for Jewish people. Okay, that is from the events perspective. So we shall move into our daily Srimad Bhagavatam. ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय Hare Krishna. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, so Maitreya Muni describing to Vidura about the Virat Rupa form. So the demigods, they have offered their prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead to receive um, the mercy of the Lord so that they will carry out their functions. Okay, so Lord has acknowledged their prayers, and then that is he has manifested his form in the gigantic Virata form. Smaran Visasujamesho Vijnapitam Adokchajaham Virajam Atapat Svena Tejasaisham Vivruttaye. So, in order to give assurance to the demigods, the Lord has manifested his Virata form. And that is Tejasaisham Nivruttaye Virajam Atapat Svena. Virajam Atapat Svena. Okay, so he manifested gigantic form for their understanding, and further Maitreya Muni describing that, O Vidra, I will now explain how the Virat Rupa form and how demigods and their corresponding the senses manifested within the Virata form. Okay, so likewise, and then he starts with starting from the fire that is speaking, and then the demigod for the speaking is the Agni Deva, Agni, and also the speeches. So later on, first is the walk, and then later on the tongue, and then Varuna, and then different kinds of tastes. So likewise, Maitreya Muni is describing further. So we are in the Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, chapter 6, verse number 11 and 12. अथ तस्य अभितप्तस्य कतिधायतनानिहं निर्विध्यन्त देवानं तानि मे गदतः शृणु अथ अथ तस्य अभितप्तस्य अथ तस्य अभितप्तस्य therefore tasya, so he, the Supreme Lord, abhitaptasya, in terms of his contemplation, katidayata naniha. So katita is the how many ayatanani embodiments are there were nirbhidyanta devanam, and by separated parts devanam of the demigods. So he manifest, and then nirbhidyanta devanam tanime gattaha shrunu, all those described by me. Just here, O Vidura, I'm going to explain how the demigods were manifested from the Virata form of the Lord and their corresponding the senses and corresponding functions. Likewise, Maitreya Muni is mentioning. अथ तस्य अभितप्तस्य कतिधायतनानिह निर्भिद्यन्त देवानं तानि मे गततः शृणु. So, translation, Maitreya said, you may now hear from me how the Supreme Lord separated himself into the diverse forms of the demigods after the manifestation of the gigantic universal form. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, can I request Swarup Prabhuji to read the purport, please?
Dear Prabhu, Hare Krishna. The demigods are separated parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord as are all other living entities. The only difference between the demigods and the ordinary living entities is that when the living entities are rich in pious acts of devotional service to the Lord, and when their desire to Lord is over material energy has vanished, they are promoted to the post of demigods, who are entrusted by the Lord with executing the management of the universal affairs. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Thank you, Prabhuji. So here, this is a straightforward statement. Here, all the demigods are all Narayana Paradeva Deva Narayana Angajaha. Narayana Paraloka Narayana Paramakaha. So this is Deva Narayana Angajaha. They're all part and parcel of Narayana. It comes from Srimad Bhagavatam in the second canto. There, when Narada Muni was asking to Lord Brahma, so you are the supreme, then Brahma says, I am not the supreme, Narayana is the supreme, and from him everyone are manifested. So here demigods are separated parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. Deva Narayana Angajaha. Are, as are all other living entities. They are also living entities like ourselves, but their bodies are very fine. Their bodies are made very fine. Then our body is densed with earth, water, and fire in a little quantity, and then air, and then space. But their proportions are different. Their proportions are different. Okay, there are also the other living entities. The only difference between the demigods and the ordinary living entities is that when the living entities are rich in pious acts of devotional service to the Lord, and when their desire to lord it over material energy has vanquished, they are promoted to the posts of demigods, who are entrusted by the Lord with executing the management of the universal affairs. Okay, this is one statement they're all. So that's why whenever devotees are progressing in the devotional service, they inherit all the divine qualities of the demigods. Sarvaihi gunaihi tatra samasate suraha. Suraha means all the demigods. And so Krishna may engage the devotees maybe for particular service that is according to their constitutional position. But when they are without any material so when their desire to lord it over material energy has vanquished, then they will engage in their services. Sometimes even the demigods are also praying for their sense gratification. Of course, they occupy their positions, and when they get the disturbance like from the demons, again they go to the Lord and then offer their prayers. And then sometimes their prayers are not completely pure. Of course, they're executing the functions that are allocated to them. But Lord Brahma in his prayers, he mentions Nati Prasiditi Tatopachitopacharaihi Aradita Suraganaihi Pridibadhakamaihi Aradita Suraganaihi Pridibadhakamaihi. So that's why na Ati Prasidati, Lord may not be very pleased with the demigods, because they also have got some kind of I think that is where Lord Brahma says. But here, Prabhupada is mentioning here that once their desire to lord it over material energy has vanquished. So that means they do not have any of material things to do it with the material world. So they wanted to engage themselves, but still there may be small desires also. Okay. But they wanted to engage in the service of the Lord. They wanted to be a devotee, but small, still they may have got some kind of thing, desires, like ourselves. Like we are in the family, we wanted to execute devotional service. At the same time, we wanted to execute the functions of the family, likewise. Okay, that is one proper statement. So, atatasya abhitaptasya कथिधायतानि नानिह निर्विद्यन्त devanam tani me gatataha shrunu. After saying that, demigods, and then further Maitreya Muni saying, first is the Agni has been manifested from the mouth mouth is manifested, and then Agni is manifested, and then speech. तस्याग्निर आस्यम निर्भिन्नम लोकपालो अविशद पदम वाचा स्व अंशेन व्यक्तव्यम ययासौ प्रतिपद्यते तस्य अग्निः आस्यम. So after that, Asyam, from his mouth the fire got generated. Nirbhinnam. Tasyagnir Asyam Nirbhinnam. Asyam is the mouth, Agni is the fire. Nirbhinnam, thus got separated. The fire, from his mouth, the fire got separated. And Lokapalo Avishit Padam, and also the directors of the material affairs. Lokapalaha, that is directors of the material affairs. Avishat Padam, they have Avishat is entered, and Padam respective positions. They were manifested from those different limbs of Virat Rupa, and they have entered into their respective positions. Lokapalu Avishat Padam. And here from Vacha Swa Amshena Vaktavyam. Vacha is by words, Swa Amshena by one's own part, Vyaktavyam speeches. Yaya Asau Pratipadhyate. Yaya Asau Pratipadhyate. And by which they can express their what they wanted to by speaking. Without speaking, we cannot express. Even though we are seeing some kind of thing, unless it is explained by the sound vibrations, one cannot understand. Okay, so that is where the speeches and then the fire got separated from the mouth. So tasyagnihi. तस्याग्निर आस्यम निर्भिन्नम लोकपालो अविशत पदम वाचा स्वांशेन वक्तव्यम ये आसो प्रतिपद्यते. Agni or translation, Agni or heat separated from his mouth, and all the directors of the material affairs entered into it in their respective positions. By that energy, the living entity expresses himself in words. Okay, purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay. Sarup Prabhuji, would you like to continue that purport as well?
Sure, Prabhu. The mouth of the gigantic universal form of the Lord is the source of the speaking power. The director of the fire element is the controlling deity, or the Adhidaiva. The speeches delivered are Adhyatma, or bodily functions, and the subject matter of the speeches is material production, or the Adibhuta principle. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Thank you, Prabhuji. So here again, the Maitreya Muni describing. So Agni or heat separated from the mouth of the Virata Rupa form. And all the directors of material affairs entered into it in their respective positions. So what it means, Lokapalo Avishad Padam, that is into their respective positions. There are different demigods. Now, in order to speak, they need a mouth and then power of speech. So that's why first is the Agni, and the heat it got generated from the mouth, and then that's corresponding function as well. So that by that energy, the living unit expresses himself in words. That is how in this Virat. So here, this is the gradual process of manifesting from the Virata form. Before the Virata form, the raw ingredients, they were already manifested before that, before the Virata form. And when Lord has entered, now all coming together, and then Virata Rupa form manifested, and from the Virata form, again there the Agni, Varuna, and the fire, and then the tongue, and then taste, and all these are getting manifested from the Virata form. So previously the ingredients are existed. So that we have already seen. That is Pradhana, Prakriti, Mahatattva, Ahankara, goodness, passion, and ignorance. And from goodness, mind and demigods got generated, and from mode of passion, the Karnendriyas, Jnanendriyas, and their corresponding functions like Kriya Shakti, Jnan Shakti, Prana Shakti, and from mode of ignorance, these sound and these five tanmatras, five panchbhutas, they were all manifested. Now they are not mixed together. And when the Lord has entered into this universe in the Andakosha and then stayed there for 1,000 yuga cycles, and now from his body, all these ingredients, they will be manifested from the Virata form within this universe. Okay, and then starting from so by the time the demigods they have offered in order to their with incapability or inability to do their functions, and then Lord manifested himself as the Virata form. From the Virata form, all the demigods and then the mouth and then the tongue, palate, they are getting manifested here. Okay, so this is a particular shloka. Tasyagnihi asyam nirbhinnam lokapalo avishet padam वाचा स्व अंशेन वक्तव्यम ययासो प्रतिपद्यते. It is a gradual process of manifesting different demigods and then their functions uh, uh, and then the senses as well from the Virata Rupa form. Okay, so that is from Srimad Bhagavatam. And here, the mouth or the gigantic universal form of the Lord is the source of the speaking power. Okay, that is the first thing required. And also the same, the mouth is also used to eat the food. And whenever the Lord get this appetite to drink and then to eat, then he uses the same mouth for that purpose. And then later on, the tongue is going to be generated from there, and then Varuna like that. And the director of the fire element is the controlling deity or the Adidaiva. So here, whenever he speaks, Adidaiva, Adhyadhyatma, Adi Sadidhaivam, Sadhyatmam, and then Sadibhuta, so what is called? It is Sadibhuta. So here, Adidhaiva. So this is in the previous shlokas, it is described like Sadhyatmaha, Sadidaivasya, Sadibhuta, iti Tridha. Those Tridha, this is describing here, coming from the Adidaiva. So here, controlling deity is or coming under Adidaiva. The director of the fire element is the controlling deity or Adidaiva. And then speeches delivered or Adhyatma are the bodily functions. It is Adhyatma. And the subject matter of the speeches is material productions or the Adhibhuta principle. Okay, these are the three levels, and we get this tapatriyas coming from the three different levels. This is Adidaiva, Adi Adhyatma, and then Adibhautika. So these are the ones that we get the misery, tapatriyas. We are being tormented by three different kinds of miseries of this material world. But here, these directors and their functions and then the material productions are described. Adidaiva, Adidaiva, Adhyatma, and Adibhuta principles. Okay, so that is the functions of the Virata form. Okay, that is from Srimad Bhagavatam. It's not much philosophy, but it is a gradual process of this is if one observes how the baby develops in the womb of a mother, gradually we may little understand, and then the same thing applies to the gigantic Virata form. Okay, but actually that is the starting, but our understanding of this material world, this is secondary, but secondary one is what we have got experience. Okay, that is from Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Okay, so we shall move to Srila Prabhupada's daily letter for today. And today letter to Jagadisha, November 17th, 1970, Bombay. Okay, so can I request any unallocated devotees to read this letter, please? Any devotees is fine.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I'll try.
Yes, Mataji, please.
My dear Jagdish sir, please accept my blessings. I beg to thank you for your letter dated October 25th, 1970 and noted the contents. Yes, you are right to say that self-realization is a serious work. The devotees know this, and one of their qualities is that they are grave and not inclined to frivolity. A Krishna consciousness person is only interested in serving the Lord faithfully, and he has got no other uh, extra extraneous thought. His intelligence is always engaged in finding out the best way to execute loving transcendental service to Krishna, and therefore he has no time for idleness. In idle mind is the devil worship, is a true remark. We should always remember that Maya and Krishna are side by side, just like light and darkness stand side by side. If one is not in sunshine or light, then he is ipso facto in darkness. Therefore, we must not be careless, but we should push on with great seriousness and sincerity. Then we shall be certain of achieving the desired result. I am always glad to learn that our Sankirtana is going on so much joyfully now in our every branch. We shall not misrepresent ourselves by making simply a show of devotional service and simply fill our beliefs. It is our only intention to spread this sublime philosophy to all the persons of the world for the complete welfare benefit, both spiritual and material, of every one of them. The new program of preaching on Sankirtana, using one basic verse from the Bhagavad Gita as it is an excellent idea. We should always be eager to find out such nice ways to spread this movement. This will automatically bring joy to the devotee as well as to the non-devotees. Please see that the highest standards are maintained in all the temples in your jurisdiction as well as your own. We are now attracting the attention of the public in general and very influential person as well. So our program, if it is kept pure according to my many instructions, will give you the deserved reputation of being the topmost members of the society. This is very much wanted to that way that we may hope to change the society as a whole. Keep the Montreal and Vancouver centers carefully in cooperation and in general see that things are going well with the help of your good brothers and other guru governing body commissions. Hope this will meet you in good health. Your ever well wisher, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Thank you, Mataji. Any takeaway points, Mataji? Any reflections?
Yes, Prabhu, that's a very deep letter. Uh, I won't be able to elaborate more, but I can just say a few about the points that Prabhupada is writing to Jagdisa, and he is asking about that you are right, it's like a self-realization is a serious work. So that what is about the self-realization, like Prabhupada is giving the example about that light and darkness. So the people were in the side by side is Krishna's going Maya and Krishna going side by side. So that Prabhupada giving example about light and darkness. So when you are in the Maya, that it's a dark, and then when you come to like Krishna, then it's a light, maybe something is giving the analogy about the light and darkness. And that is that another thing is that Krishna consciousness pushing that like Prabhupada is very glad about Sankirtana is going very nicely in every branch, and like that said so you simply devotional service and full all our like bill is better. Then he said that that's going to spread the new program of teaching Krishna Sankirtana parties using a basic verse about the Srimad Bhagavad Gita he's mentioning. But I don't know Prabhu which verse about the Srimad Bhagavad Gita to move the Krishna consciousness, spread the Krishna consciousness for the non-devotees. And that I said, please keep the high standard about the maintaining in the temple. So yeah, and yes, um, that's a take, Prabhu. You can elaborate more. I couldn't get so many points. So, thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Very nicely explained. Okay, any comments, dear devotees? Any other reflections?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Mataji has explained it very well. Just one point, I think Srila Prabhupada is saying that there is no time for idleness, and idle mind is devil's workshop. I noted that point also. Um, and saying that, yeah, exactly, Prabhu, what we have highlighted, that his intelligence is always engaged in finding out the best way to execute loving, transcendental service to Krishna, and therefore there is no time for idleness. That's the other point I noted, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Very beautiful point. Okay, any other comments? Okay, so that is from Srila Prabhupada's letter. So here, this is Yetavad Deva Jijna, Yetavad Deva. So it is Yetavad Janma Sapalyam Deheshu Iha Dehinam Pranaihi Addaihi Diya Vacha Shreya Acharanam Sada. Sada is the always, always engage, intelligence, life, and then words, and yeah, money, everything, wealth, for the well-being of for oneself and also everyone else. So he has no time for idleness. And here, a rich man's son is a rich man's son's brain is kind of a devil's workshop. Prabhupada in another statement he mentioned, a rich man's son doesn't have to do anything for himself for his livelihood, but and his mind he does not use his mind, so it is devil's workshop. His ideal mind is the devil's workshop. And here, Prabhupada is a two remark Prabhupada is mentioning. Maya and Krishna are side by side, either Krishna or Maya, and lightness and darkness, giving an examples and analogies here. When we are in the light, then there is no darkness. When we are having the knowledge, no need of doing ignorant things. So he will do exactly the right things. That is the knowledge. Okay, so that is then he is ipso facto in darkness. Prabhupada is a different statement. So therefore, we must not be careless, but we should push on with great seriousness and sincerity. Then we shall be certain of achieving the desired result. And Prabhupada is mentioning sometimes for the huge audience. So whoever is coming here and executing devotional service, and everyone will become perfect in due course of time. But if you do not come after a few days, but still you are not lost, because you have gained some knowledge, and then you will continue that process whenever you get a chance. So nothing is lost. So that is Krishna consciousness. Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. And sometimes we also see some people will come and join the Sangha, and then they do not take part in the participations in Zoom sessions or come into house programs, meeting with the devotees like that. But they stay ideally for some time watching the messages, and then after some time they drop because they have not taken part, they did not tasted the devotional service or speaking a Krishna Katha, hearing Krishna Katha speaking. Okay, so that is how they drop, and then in due course of time, again they will go to the material world and they will see the bitterness again and then come back. So it will come, because this is where they will get the light. And Prabhupada is mentioning here, devotional service means we always needs to be with different ways to spread Krishna consciousness movement, and it is not simply a show of devotional service and simply fill our bellies, not like that. So it is evam nunam nunam bhakti bhavishyati. So evam haro bhakti, evam haro bhakti. Brahma says to Narada Muni, evam haro bhakti nunam bhakti bhavishyati. Sorry, evam haro bhagavati nunam bhakti bhavishyati sarvatmani akiladhere sarvatmani akiladhare iti sankalpya varnaya. And with great determination, in such a way that devotional service sprout in the heart of the conditioned souls. In such a way you describe spread Krishna consciousness movement. So that is the instruction, not simply a show or just a preaching like that. So that is what Brahma is mentioning to Narada Muni. It is our whole intention to spread this sublime philosophy to all the persons of the world for the complete welfare benefit. Shreya Acharanam Sada. Both spiritual and material of every one of them. Material of every one of them. When he is freed from all sinful activities, automatically, and he would gain the knowledge, and he is in the right path, he knows how to utilize his wealth and material objects as well. Everything is preserved properly. The new program of preaching Sankirtan and using one basic verse from Bhagavad Gita as it is an excellent idea. So that is what they will give attention to this one shloka from Bhagavad Gita. They are sublime. It will be accepted by everyone. They will give some thought what it means and what is each meaning, because it is not man-made thing. So we should always be able to find out such nice ways to spread this movement. This will automatically bring joy to the devotees as well as to the non-devotees as well. Okay, so this is when the non-devotees also see our Krishna conscious devotees chanting and dancing on the street in the Sankirtana, they will also take pleasure and take part. They bring joy to the devotees as well as to the non-devotees. Okay, but what we need to do, maintain the standards in all the temples in your jurisdiction as well as your own. Person must be pure, temples must be, because these neophytes or non-devotees, they also come to the temples and to see how these devotees are doing. The outside they are doing chanting and all those things in the streets, but what they are doing in the temple, if they come and see here how we are maintaining the standard. Otherwise, if you are simply eating and doing all these things, and then they do not take serious. Okay, but here Prabhupada is mentioning, see that the highest standards are maintained in all the temples, as well as your own. personally and also the temple. So this is yad yadacharati sreshtaha tat tad devetaro naraha sait pramanam kurite lokaha tad anuvartate. And everyone will follow our footsteps. One must be ideal person, ideal devotee. So our program, if it is kept pure according to many instructions, will give you the deserved reputation of being the topmost members of the society. That is very much wanted, so that we may hope to change the society as a whole. Yeah, this is the devotees and Brahmanas business. So lead by example. Okay, so these are very few points and Prabhupada is mentioning. So cooperate carefully in cooperation with all the centers and carry out your duties likewise. That is a few points from Srila Prabhupada's letter. Every letter is a very powerful information to the devotees. Okay, that is from Prabhupada's letter. And from the announcements point of view, so today evening we have got teachings of Lord Chaitanya at 8 p.m. That is our upcoming event. And with regards to the fundraise for the Soviet Jagannath Radayatra, now that is closed, it is finished, and we have made the Lakshmi contributions to the temple through Kadamba Foundation. Okay, those are updates from me. And the devotees, if you have got any updates or you wanted to share anything on Krishna consciousness, kindly share. Hare Krishna. Okay, if there are no further updates, then we shall conclude and continue with further japa. Vanchakalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna conscious day, everyone. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita